She showed up in her wedding dress, alone, dumped at the altar for being too fat. No family, no home, no hope left. Until a single dad with nothing to give gave her the one thing she needed most: a door that opened, and a child who called her Mom. This isn't just a story about love. It's about the kind of grace that shows up quietly, in a house with peeling paint, and a porch swing that remembers the weight of second chances. If stories like this remind you that kindness still matters, take a second to subscribe so you never miss the next one. Now, let me tell you what happened the day she knocked on his door. The bridal shop was quiet, lit only by soft lamplight and the whisper of fabric being pinned, pressed, and adjusted. It was nearly 7 p.m., long past closing hours, but Willa May wasn't ready to leave. She rarely was these days. The mirror in front of her reflected a woman in her 30s, not young, not old, not perfect, but full of quiet hopes stitched into the seams of the ivory gown she wore. Her hands, slightly calloused from years of sewing, trembled as they adjusted the hem. "This is the one," she whispered to herself, voice catching in her throat. "This is finally the one." She had made dozens of gowns in her small-town studio. Gowns for women with long lashes and slim waists and laughter that rang like bells. Women who had walked into her shop nervous and left glowing. She had watched them try on lace and chiffon and silk, sometimes envious, sometimes proud, always careful not to show either. But this one, this gown, she had sewn it in the quiet of midnight and the loneliness of early morning. It was for her. Rick had proposed after 6 months of secretive dinners and polite silences. He was charming and safe in that distant sort of way. He never really looked at her, not like that, but he smiled, and he was kind, and he made her believe that perhaps she wasn't too much, too big, too quiet, too invisible. "Simple," he'd said when she asked what kind of dress he liked. "Nothing too flashy." So she designed a modest silhouette, fitted bodice, A-line skirt, sleeves that fell just below the elbow. She didn't try to hide her curves, but she softened them. She'd told herself she didn't care what anyone else thought. She only needed him to show up. The wedding was set for tomorrow afternoon. The church had been booked. The cake was ready. Darla, her best friend and the local baker, had made sure of that. Willa hadn't allowed herself to feel excitement, only relief. Relief that someone had finally chosen her. But as she turned in the mirror, something didn't sit right. She didn't feel like a bride. She felt like someone pretending. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A text from an unknown number. Her fingers fumbled, then froze. "Willa, it's Rick. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I thought I could, but I can't. Please don't try to call me." For a long time, the shop was silent, except for the soft mechanical hum of the old fridge in the back room. Her hand, still holding the phone, dropped to her side. Her reflection wavered as her body began to shake. She didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, she slowly sat down on the small velvet chair in the corner, her dress pooling around her like spilled cream. What hurt the most wasn't that he left. Some part of her had expected it. What broke her was the fact that even now, even after all this, a small voice in her whispered, "Of course he did. Who would stay?" She sat there until the room grew dim, until the shadows stretched and the night crept in through the shop's front windows. Eventually, she stood, changed out of the gown, folded it with shaking hands, and placed it gently into the box she had saved for the occasion. The box was white, embossed with golden lettering. For the day she'll never forget. She almost laughed. The church was only 2 blocks away. It was too late to cancel the booking. Maybe it was habit, or maybe it was hope in its final breath, but Willa walked there, carrying the dress like it still mattered. The sun had dipped low, casting the steeple in a soft orange glow. The parking lot was empty, the chapel silent. She sat on the old stone steps and placed the dress beside her. And that's where Bo Carter found her. He wasn't looking for anyone. He was just walking his 6-year-old son, Finn, back from the library. It was their Friday ritual. Bo, a carpenter by trade, had grown quieter since his wife died 3 years ago. Finn was his world, but grief had taught them both to live small. The boy tugged at his father's sleeve. "Daddy, why is that lady crying?" Bo looked. She wasn't crying, not exactly, but her eyes were distant. Her mouth trembled in a way that told him it was taking all she had not to fall apart. Her hands gripped a box wrapped in ivory ribbon like it held something precious, or something broken. He hesitated. Normally, he would have walked on. He didn't get involved, but something about her, maybe the way the wind played with her hair, or how carefully she'd set that box down beside her, felt like a story unfinished. "Ma'am?" he asked gently. Willa blinked, startled. She tried to smile, but it cracked halfway. "Sorry, I'm fine, just waiting for someone." Bo didn't push. He nodded, glancing at Finn, who had wandered a few feet closer and was now peering at the box. "Is it a cake?" the boy asked. "No, sweetheart," she said softly. "It's a dress." "Is it yours?" "Yes." "Are you getting married?" Her throat tightened. She managed a small shake of the head. "Not anymore." Finn looked at his father, puzzled. Bo stepped forward, unsure of what he was doing until he heard his own voice. "We live just a few blocks down. You're welcome to come rest for a bit, if you'd like." Willa stared at him. Bo smiled, a little awkward. "It's not much, but it's warm, and we've got leftover lasagna." She looked at the church doors, at the box beside her, then at this man and his wide-eyed little boy, and for reasons she couldn't explain, she nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "Thank you." Bo picked up the box without asking. It was lighter than he expected. They walked in silence. The night settled around them, and somewhere between the chapel steps and the Carter front porch, something small, something unseen, began to mend. The Carter house sat on the edge of town, framed by weather-worn picket fences and an old maple tree that had shed most of its leaves. It was the kind of place that looked ordinary in daylight, but in the soft hush of evening, it radiated a quiet kind of warmth, like the home of someone who had once believed in laughter and hadn't quite forgotten how. Willa stepped onto the porch with hesitation. She felt out of place, like a stranger intruding on someone else's normal. The porch creaked beneath her feet, and a single bulb above the door flickered as if questioning her presence. Bo unlocked the door and stepped aside to let her in. "It's not much, but it's home," he said, not out of apology, but simple honesty. Inside, the house smelled faintly of cinnamon and sawdust. A half-built birdhouse sat on the kitchen table, surrounded by wood shavings and tiny nails. There were dishes in the sink, a stack of school books on the counter, and a faded quilt draped over the back of a worn armchair. It wasn't clean in the curated way of magazine homes, but it was lived in, loved, and real. "Make yourself comfortable," Bo said, setting her box gently near the coat rack. "I'll heat up some dinner." Willa nodded wordlessly, clutching her purse like it might disappear. Finn had already kicked off his shoes and was now attempting to untie her laces. "You don't have to," she began. "I'm good at it," he said proudly, tongue peeking from the corner of his mouth in concentration. "Mom taught me." The room fell still. The word "Mom" hovered in the air like a ghost. Bo didn't flinch, but his shoulders stiffened slightly as he opened the fridge. "Lasagna, okay?" Willa nodded. "Thank you." Again. He warmed the food. Finn chattered about books and dogs and the mean goose at school, and Willa sat at the edge of the couch as though unsure if she was really allowed to